setup here. Incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we arrived here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Folks, what a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Harry on the top. Right hand from McCray. Double jab. Who's the king of violence? I am!
Combat fighting in its purest form. Bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
80 seconds remaining.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
The Monday Night Meltdown Level 2 has begun. Checking in with the Major League Baseball scoreboard right now. Colorado still lead Arizona 3-1. Top of the sixth inning. It could be a night of parlay busters and underdogs cashing tickets. This almost leads me to believe that Pittsburgh is going to beat San Diego as well. But that game is now a pick-em. They're still scoreless at the top of the sixth inning. And in fact, the Braves and Giants are still scoreless. We had a low total of 6.5 in this game. In-game number now is 2.5. We have Chris Sale versus Logan Webb on the hill, and it shows so far. So we're scoreless. And in fact, the Atlanta Braves are being no-hit right now. Wow. So we're going into the sixth inning, and they're being no-hit. And the Giants only have 2 hits right now. Let's bring George Kurtz in, who's no doubt getting frustrated watching his Yankees get drilled by one of the worst teams in the history of Major League Baseball. How you doing, George?
Frustrated? I'll give you a Monday Night Meltdown. You can rename the show SportsRage with George Kurtz tonight. All right? This is just awful. How do you not show up again? How are you 2 for 14 with runs in scoring position? This team infuriates me. Just completely. Listen, losing is one thing. You're losing to a Double-A team. All right? Someone hit a home run earlier that I didn't even heard of. So who the hell is this guy hitting home run? I mean, no. I can't remember. I'm actually glad you won money, Cam. I probably didn't need you to throw it in my face the first time I see you.
I didn't mean it like that. I was just me and Gabe were talking about on the show. It's like, because everyone's thinking, ooh, come back with the Yankees. I'm like, what about White Sox alternative line? Was there a night
tonight? If I
tonight?
won money on this game, I feel better, but I didn't bet anything on this game.
Right, Gabe? Every dog has its day. And tonight's the day of the White Sox. Like, they want to murder somebody. They've been beat up all year. It's like that one guy that's finally winning a fight. He's gonna hurt you.
I do find it interesting, though, George. You say that this team, how frustrating they are. They do have 70 wins.
Yeah, they're doing good.
Like for a team, like they've been 70 wins on the season.
It's like the Cowboys. It's the same thing as the Cowboys. Nobody cares the Cowboys have 11, 12 regular season wins. You make the playoffs every year. I know the Yankees are making the playoffs.
But the playoffs haven't started yet. Don't worry about it. It's one game against the White Sox.
Have you seen this bullpen? They're not winning crap. All right, they're not going anywhere. The only what could save the Yankees is that I don't know who is. Baltimore has the same. I am so afraid that you know who's going to win. You know who's going to the World Series in the American League?
The Houston Astros again.
Houston freaking Astros. That's going to be that'll just be the ultimate insult.
It's almost by default, isn't it, George? Because, like you said, the Yankees, they just don't have. Let's be real. They don't have enough to win 3 playoff series and all those games and low-scoring games and all that. It's not going to happen. I'm not buying into them. Remember last year I faded Baltimore, and I think maybe Baltimore can win a series now, but I don't think they're World Series ready quite yet, right? And then we kind of dismiss the Central. Maybe that's a mistake, but due to their lack of success in the past, it's hard not to. which leads us to Houston, almost by default, because we know they can do it, and they do it, right? And but one thing, George, look at Seattle. Let's give a little bit of props to Seattle. Seattle are punching back here right now. It's not easy because, look, man, Houston are on a tear right now, 5-game win streak. Seattle, they're keeping pace right now, 4-game win streak. Seattle could have not, I'm not saying they were going to quit, but they had lost all the momentum. Houston had gotten the momentum in this division, and Seattle are going, toe for toe with them right now.
Oh, I agree. I think, I don't think, as a Yankee fan, I think all the teams you just mentioned there, I think Seattle's the team I want to play.
Those are the two most dangerous teams. I agree. Those are the two most dangerous teams, the West teams.
Because Seattle can shut you down. They have the best pitching staff in probably in baseball, from the bullpen, right? They can shut you down, and against the Yankee staff, Seattle will score just enough runs to beat the Yankees. They win 3-2 games. Right? The Yankees have to hope to play a team that doesn't have pitching that they could maybe outslug. If they're that week, they're in a good hitterish mood there. But like I said, the Mariners are probably the team I least want to see the Yankees play in the playoffs.
I don't think a lot of teams want to play Seattle. It's a weird spot. The Pacific Northwest is not close to anything. It's like a unique situation suddenly. And we talked about, you got the Marine layer there. If they get into you know what I mean? This team's never made the World Series before. You have a rabid fan base. It's a tough place to play. And the travel, they're more used to travel than you are, right? Mm-hmm. Seattle are used to like the long trips. They get it. This is where they are. You're not, right? Like, you're the Yankees, George and Cam. Think about it. Like, you look at the Yankees playing against Baltimore. How far is New York and Baltimore? You're playing against Boston, Tampa, Toronto.
Not far.
Dude, like there's nowhere that's further. Like Toronto's everywhere is close. Toronto's a 48-minute flight. Baltimore, like all these places are so in your own little wheelhouse. It takes you out of your element, actually. Like Seattle's a tricky place to play. 37-26 at home is one of the better home records as well. That division, though, is just sort of a toss-up. But do you agree, George? I don't really feel that Baltimore have what it takes to go all the way to the World Series. I think they could win a playoff series, but I don't think they could win 3 of them.
I would agree, especially now we don't know what Grayson Rodriguez, how he's going to be when he comes back. They're hoping September there. And I do remember you last year fading Baltimore against Texas very much. So you were on that, and you were correct. I think Baltimore will be better. I think you put it perfectly. I think they'll win a series, maybe 2, and that's probably as far as they can go. I said you can make a pretty strong argument that the teams to beat in the American League, whichever order you want to put them in, are Seattle and Houston. 1-2 here. I don't believe in the Central. Maybe because I know that's the one division I know the Yankees will beat up on. Minnesota's the Patsies. I think they'll beat Cleveland. So we'll find out early next week. The Yankees play Cleveland Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday there. And I certainly don't believe in Kansas City either.
And you and Gabe, we all know baseball here. And the one thing about Cleveland is, take a look at their pitching, and their bullpen is top end. And that's very, very dangerous in the playoffs. I'm just saying, let's just not dismiss them, because they've been doing it all year.
As for the Yankees, it's the one team I know they can beat. They've already taken them 3 out of 4 this year. It's a team they play well against. For whatever reason, the Yankees own the Central. They just do. They play well against that division. They always have. So I'm not worried about that. But I'm probably not as worried about Baltimore either, because they have no bullpen. Right? It's going to be the slugfest that the Yankees probably need to get into to have any chance of winning. The problem is Seattle can shut you down. 1-9, whatever. How many pitches? 1-12. They can shut you down. They have. Brian Wu is their 5th starter. What team wouldn't kill for that? Houston just seems to be that team that they just won't go away. Just die, and they won't. And we don't even know what Justin Verlander is going to be.
Looking at the odds right now, the Baltimore Orioles and the Yankees are both plus 220 to win the American League, which is just a bad bet. Then number one, the numbers are way too low. And number 2, neither of these teams are they don't instill enough confidence to have these low of numbers, in my opinion. And George, you talk about it, and you and I have been on the same page with this. I've been saying it. It's almost by default almost. I'm like, it's going to end up being Houston again. It just is, right? But I think Seattle are the ones that can kind of get rid of them. Like I said, I don't think, them and Seattle have quite a rivalry going right now. But Baltimore plus 220, I don't think that's a good bet. Yankees are plus 220, too low of a number. The Astros are plus 550 right now. The Guardians are plus 650, and I'd rather the Stros than the Guardians. And then you get to the Twins, who no. And then the Mariners guys. The Mariners are plus 850 right now. I think and look, we got 10-1 here. So they got 10-1. The numbers are bouncing around, but I personally think the two best bets on the board are the Houston Astros and the Seattle Mariners.
I might worry somewhat that for the Astros, what are Arrighetti, Hunter Brown, how are they going to be in the playoffs? Right? Because those two are really carrying the team right now, right? Valdez is pitching great again, another great start.
Valdez can go 2 games in every series because that, you know what I mean.
It depends how it works out. That's not necessarily true, but probably he can, and that's great. But I do wonder about the rest of the starting staff there. That being said, they're very well. They're experienced. You got Hader on the back end. The bullpen isn't what it used to be. If I'm going to make the bet, I think it's Seattle. Seattle's the team I want to bet on.
So that's the American League numbers. The Royals are 17-1, Red Sox 22-1, Rangers just aren't. They're running out of time and racetracks here. They're 60-1.
They are.
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center, here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Folks, what a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Harry on the turn. Who's the king of violence?
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
80 seconds remaining.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
Monday Night Meltdown rolling along. Right now we're just talking Major League Baseball. Cam Stewart, George Kurtz. I'm Gabriel Morency. Talking about the American League odds. A quick recap. Orioles plus 220. Yankees plus 220. Astros plus 550. Guardians plus 650. Twins plus 800. Mariners plus 850. Royals 17-1. Red Sox 22-1. Then there's a big drop-off to the Texas Rangers at 60-1. The National League... And I can't advocate this, even being a Los Angeles Dodger fan, and the Dodgers are plus 145 to win the National League when you consider there's some good teams in the National League, including the Philadelphia Phillies, who are plus 270. Then there's a massive drop-off. So the National League is pretty bettable. The American League's, I find there's more better teams in the National League, I find. The American League picture seems clearer to me in a way. It kind of feels like the Dodgers and the Phillies are on a collision course, but you can't dismiss the Atlanta Braves. The Brewers are almost that like Cleveland or Minnesota guys, the Central Division once again, where it's like, yeah, whatever, man. You make the playoffs every year and you get bounced every year. So I don't think anyone's really fearing the Milwaukee Brew Crew right now. Yet the D-backs and San Diego are another story, guys, and I'll throw it to you first, Kurt, but, you know, it was a good thing the Dodgers swept the Pirates over the weekend, because if they didn't, they'd really be in a fight for first place right now. We suddenly have a little bit of a fight going on in the West. Everybody came in being 3.5 back of the Dodgers tonight, San Diego and Arizona.
Well, we'll find out more about the Dodgers in the next couple of weeks, right? Because Betts came back tonight. Buehler's back on Wednesday. Muncy, it looks like next week. Edman, the acquisition, he also should be back within the next 10 days. So we'll start to see the real Dodgers team. Yamamoto should be back at some point as well. So we'll see. That's when you get the real Dodgers, and we'll see what they become there. But yeah, it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a lot of fun here. You and I are both high on the San Diego Padres, who are still scoreless, by the way. Musgrove came back for them tonight. They should get Tatis back in a couple of weeks. So by the end of the month, we'll know more about the National League West and who really the best teams are. But it is going to be a fun league here. The Phillies are going through it right now. They're not playing good ball. I still have to believe the Dodgers and Phillies are on that collision course. I think they are the two best overall teams. But I said Padres aren't going anywhere, and neither are the Diamondbacks. Right? Diamondbacks went for it at the trade deadline. So the Padres. They weren't afraid of the Dodgers. They weren't hanging up. So it should be a lot of fun down the stretch.
I think the Dodgers are going to hang on and win the division, but I still think both those teams, or one of them, whoever it is, are very dangerous in the playoffs to the Dodgers. I would rather, like, from the Dodgers' perspective, not play someone in a division. Just point blank. We've seen, you know, talking about the unusualness, right, of some series is sometimes the familiarity isn't good, right? Like San Diego gets super fired up when they play the Dodgers. It's like their World Series. And we saw that. They beat them in the playoffs. The Dodgers have lost Arizona in the playoffs before. You know, I would rather, if I was the Dodgers, to avoid these division teams, but the way they're playing, you know, one of them could be there when it's all said and done. I think they're both live, Arizona and San Diego. We can't dismiss the Braves, although it just doesn't feel like the Braves are quite that team this year. Then there's a big drop-off to the Mets, the Giants, and everybody dismissed that. Who do you like in the National League, Kim?
I like the Padres. I already put futures on them. I think they're very, very dangerous. I think this is a team that needs to be respected. Even, you know, you look deeper in the rotation. Cease's on fire right now. Your boy, George King's been pretty damn good. Like, I look at these guys, I think they've been solid. And I look up and down their lineup. They got just Jurickson, they got Profar, like a lot of, like, you know what it is, Gabe, with them? They're just a professional baseball team. They have, like, they're underrated, a lot of underrated guys. They have star power. They have pitching. They have the back end. There's a lot of things to like about the Padres. They're playing great baseball right now. They're 13 games over 500. And you talk about value. We're looking for a number. I locked it in. I think the Padres are one of these teams that are very, very dangerous. Maybe the Dodgers and Phillies beat the crap out of each other, and the Padres could be lingering. And Georgia, you guys are both right about the Arizona Diamondbacks, another dangerous team at that price.
One thing about baseball, the regular season, I'm not going to say it doesn't mean anything, but you get into these 5-game series and anything can happen. It's such a short sample size, and especially, I've said this for years, Kurtz, about how I think the home team is at a disadvantage, actually. Like, if it was best of 5, I think it's an advantage to start on the road and know that you have those 3 games in your back pocket after. You know, the 5-game set, you win 1 game, you split the first 2 on the road, Kurtz. You're going back home, and you have an opportunity to win the series already. You win the first 2 somehow, and boom, you're in the driver's seat. The 5-game series are very dangerous in baseball, and we also see baseball is the one sport where you don't want that bye week, right? Like, it's, you know, baseball, you play every day, all the time. You're used to your rhythm. I think being off 2 days is fine. Maybe 3 days, okay, but these teams that get the top seeds, Kurtz, they're off for like 5-6 days. And I think you see sometimes they're flat after. They can't get it going again.
No, you don't want to have a week off. You don't want to have 5 days off. I think you put it perfectly. 2 days, maybe in some situations, depending on how your starting staff is lined up, you'd want 3 days. But I think 3 days is pushing it as well. You know, I think 2 days is the perfect amount. You want time you want up. You get everything lined up. Your bullpen is now a little fresher here. You get the starter you want going there. So that's what you want. But yeah, but there's no way around it. Unless you want to, I mean, I do think the wild card round shouldn't be a one and done. I think that's unfair. You know, for 162 games, you go play 1 game, and whoever got the better starting pitcher, you win. So there's no perfect solution. That's the thing. If we want the wild card to be 2 out of 3, well, then guess what? You know, you're going to have at least 5 days off, right? It could go 3. Everyone's going to get a day off. There's 5 days. So it's hard. You just can't have it both ways, I guess. There's no what are you going to do? You better figure out a way to keep everybody fresh, have inter-squad games, go play a minor league team, whatever it might be. But I agree. You know, you always get fret, oh, great, we're going to lose game 1 because everyone's rusty.
That's the worst, man. And you're playing a team that just played very intense baseball that does have just only 1 day off usually, right? They're coming out of the wild card series and the series starts like 2 days later or whatnot. And they have that momentum. We've seen it just time and time again in the past. And also, baseball is a lot like the National Hockey League, where the team with the best record never wins, right? Yep. Like I said, the regular season wins. Okay, they're nice, and you win your division and this and that, but it gets into like this little mini series. On the other side, let's take a look at some of the awards here right now. I think this is kind of getting to be a little bit debatable and bettable as well.
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center, here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Folks, what a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Harry on the top. Right hand from my great double champion. Who's the king of violence? I am!
Combat fighting in its purest form. Bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
80 seconds remaining.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
So the Braves have broken up Logan Webb's no-hitter in the Bay Area. We're on the Atlanta Braves in this game. We're also on the Blue Jays right now. The Blue Jays are up 4-1 in the bottom of the 7th inning. There's a pop fly to center field, and the inning's about to come to an end. All right, so looking at the awards here, there's been a lot of talk about Paul Skeens, yet I think they're getting into the point now where the shutdown of Skeens has to be in the conversation, right? They're in a free fall right now. They're not going to make the playoffs. And is there a reason really to run this guy's arm into the ground? They know, as good as he is, whatever amount of pitches they have designated in their analytics department, that they're going to be able to get out of this guy before his arm blows up. You can tell the numbers, the velocity, it's already starting to come down here right now. You and I have spent a lot of time talking about this, Kurtz. You said earlier in the year, one of the reasons why you weren't overly excited about betting on him was because you thought he could get shut down. Right now, he's minus 400 to be Rookie of the Year. And I'll ask you, is there value on Jackson Merrill right now at plus 250, Kurtz?
And Merrill hit after big hit after big hit. I know it's only August, so we'll see what happens in September. But as you just said, Gabe, and I agree, I don't see Skeens pitching in maybe a little bit in September, but not deep into it. And that was going to be the big key there. He didn't start the season with them. If he doesn't end the season with them, his counting numbers is just not going to be there. Merrill's are going to be there. He's been there since day one, playing a position he doesn't play. Remember, he's a shortstop. They got him in the outfield, and he's playing it well. He's batting over 290 when no one bats over 220, it seems like. Yeah. I think right now it's still Skeens. But I think it's Merrill's job to lose, or Merrill's award to lose. He keeps playing like this, and I do believe Skeens is going to get shut down. Merrill's going to win this, and that's where all the value lies here. But they know this, by the way. That number came way down from minus 400. It was over 1,000 earlier.
I know.
10 days ago. It comes way down.
Because the script has started to write itself right now. And, I'm not the biggest WAR guy, but 18 of the last 24 Rookie of the Years had the top, WAR. And Jackson Merrill's WAR is through the roof, Kurtz, even compared to Skeens's. Skeens just doesn't have a big body of work. It's an impressive body of work, but it's not a big body of work. They said, when you look at his WAR and his metrics and the path that he's on right now, and on a team that potentially could make the playoffs, you can make a legitimate argument for him. I think the one argument against him is the media really wants to give it to Skeens.
I would agree, but I think that'll go the other way if he gets shut down again. If they're not playing for anything important. If San Diego keeps going, let's just say if San Diego were to catch the Dodgers in the National League West and Merrill's a part of that, how do you not give it to him? And really, how do you not get it to him? I understand he has he doesn't have the pub of Skeens, right? Because he didn't come in throwing 102 miles an hour and blowing everybody away. He's just a good baseball player, right? I think that San Diego has got a star on their hands here. I think by the time we talk about this in 3 weeks, early September, I think we're going to be going the other direction of what Skeens has to do to catch Merrill.
Agreed. Gabe, too, another thing, he's playing his best baseball now. Take a look at his track record over the last little while. 8 ribbies in his last 5, 4 home runs. This guy's really picking it up. George talked about it, clutch hitting. He's just one of these guys that's just solid, rock solid, and the team's playing great. Yeah, it's name value, right? That's the whole thing. He's an amazing baseball player.
Well, he's carrying a team on a team full of stars. Yeah. Right. And some of these stars are injured, but like I said, he's been one of their best players, which is hard to overlook, like Kurtz stated. I'd like a little more than plus 250, but looking at it, it's a 2-man race, and you're getting plus 250 right now. And with the Pirates continuously losing, this changes the script a bit here. They have to shut Skeens down, and I won't call them out for doing it. Right? I'm not going to say, you're screwing the fans over, whatnot. No, it's pitching now. With the violence and the destruction that it takes on these players' arms. You're throwing 102 miles an hour. I can understand them managing this, but don't waste his career. Start getting some more talent to build around him and stuff, right? Indeed. I mean, otherwise you're just wasting him.
What it is, Gabe? The issues that we had, a great point by you, you should have left them in for the damn no-hitter and all the other stuff earlier in the season. Shut down makes sense now. It's what you guys did earlier. We talked about it, Morency. They screwed up.
Well, they could have let him roll out for another, right? Yeah. They had their plan.
Skeens, Jones, Keller. The future is bright. Get some hitting.
It's another franchise that refuses to spend money.
What has transpired here at the First Bank Center here in Denver, Colorado? It wasn't just
an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. I'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Folks, what a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Harry on the target. Right hand from my daddy, double champion. Who's the king of violence? I am!
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of Angels.
80 seconds remaining.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. The National League Cy Young Award-winning odds. Chris Sale is minus 145. Zach Wheeler is plus 150. Paul Skeens is plus 650. What do you think of the Cy Young, Kurtz? And here's another great start for Chris Sale tonight, actually, as we speak.
Well, if we're taking Skeens out of the Rookie of the Year, it means he's not going to win Cy Young. So we remove him from there. I have a ticket from after Strider got hurt on Zach Wheeler, so that's who I'm rooting for. But I think the whole story is going to be on Chris Sale, right? How he's Chris Sale again, how he's carried, especially if the Braves get in the playoffs here. Maybe that's the big key, by the way. All the injuries they've had, Acuna, Strider, Albies, Harris, now Lopez. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody too. If they can get in the playoffs, and by the way, I don't think they will, but if they can, it'll all be about how Chris Sale carried this team on his back to get him there in that pitching staff. So right now, I think it's going to be Sale, but I think the Braves fall out of it. So that's what I'm hoping for anyway, including my Zach Wheeler.
You know, I would have a hard time believing. I always believe that somehow the Braves are going to find a way still, but they can't control what these teams in the West are doing, right? And as you stated, they're racking up the W's, and, you know, they've had so many injuries. They might just battle but just fall short still because of what the other teams do around them, which is no control. It's out of their control. The American League, Scooble's a big favorite right now, minus 380. Corbin Burns is plus 300 in the American League. And as far as the MVPs are concerned, Shohei Ohtani right now is minus 1,900 to be the MVP. So that's a wrap. The American League MVP is a little bit different, but Cowser right now, minus 280. And, Rookie of the Year. Cowser's minus 280. Heel's not going to win. He's plus 310. So what about this one, Kurtz? Is Cowser and it's over here?
I don't think it's over because Cowser he's hot now. But a month ago, they were thinking about sending him down to the minors. He wasn't hot. And Kerstad was going to get all the playing time, right? So they were going up and down here. But he is hot right now. I don't think Heel's done, by the way, if he can get on a hot streak again. You know, I know he didn't pitch well tonight, but before that, other than a 3-game stretch, he was lights out. Right, so I don't think he's done. That being said, his innings limit is crazy. I don't know how much more he can pitch for the Yankees, so I don't think he'll win it. But I think the American League is still wide open. I just wonder if somebody who plays big down the stretch here steals this award. So I don't think it's necessarily Cowser. And by the way, if Holiday would have, like I said, I think this is an award where if somebody goes off in the next 6 weeks, they win it. If Holiday goes bananas, I wonder if he can steal it from Cowser. I just don't think Cowser's anywhere near a lock pick here. I can't tell you.
No, I wouldn't want to be like 280.
Got sent down.
No.
Austin Wells is 10-1. Rafael is 25-1. Abreu's 25-1. Colt Keith is 35-1 right now. So like I said, there's a massive drop off with everyone. Jackson Holiday's 55-1. for the record. 55-1.
He'd have to go bananas, but like I said, he'd have to go completely bananas, but he'd have a shot.
All right, let's switch gears over to the National Football League. Week 1 of preseason football is done. And for betting purposes, we posted 11 picks. We won 7 of them. So it's not a bad start. We end up going 7-4. I had a pretty good read of things. I lost a total or two here or there. And a thing we should note today is Nate Rourke was released by the Atlanta Falcons. And, you know, I could tell right away, actually, on Friday night that he was done, just point blank, when he came into the football game. He came into the football game with like 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. When you're coming into the game with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter, it means that you're not going to make the team, and you're out there just to get beat up with people, and that's exactly what happened. I was surprised. Thing with Atlanta, I thought it was a good spot for Rourke maybe, was they've got Kirk Cousins, who they're paying, like $45 million a year to. They just drafted a quarterback in the top 10, and Michael Penix. So they're paying him a rookie big time, you know, at least moderate, like enough where it's costing them money here. And they have Heineke, who makes like $4.5 million a year. So it's a lot of money for a quarterback room here, right? But so I was thinking, you know what? They probably want Rourke to be good enough to be the third string / practice roster guy, so they don't have to pay Heineke $4 million. Then I'm seeing reports that the Falcons are actually wanting to trade Heineke because they think he's good enough that teams will want him as a backup. But then they go and they let Nate Rourke go after. So that's an interesting development there. And, Kurtz, as far as your Dallas Cowboys are concerned, they're trying to figure out whether Trey Lance can be the quarterback of the future right now. I mean, that's what this is coming down to. They're putting a lot of work with Lance in practice right now. You saw he got a ton of snaps in the preseason. What's your take on Trey Lance?
He had some good moments yesterday and some bad ones. You know, he made some good plays, and there are definitely plays he left on the field here. You didn't like seeing the 2 fourth down plays. One, he took a sack because he was running around. Got to get rid of that ball. It's 4th down. You got nothing to lose here. And one, he threw the ball out of the end zone. Once again, can't do that. Got to give a guy a chance to catch it. It's 4th down. But other than that, he showed his athleticism. He made some good passes here. One thing you notice in a couple of Dallas beat writers brought this out. He was the same player in practice in that the balls that he does get to the receivers, yes, they're on target. Yes, they're caught, but he doesn't lead anybody. So there's no yak. You know, he almost tackled immediately. But I'll also be the first one to tell you, well, there's no CeeDee Lamb there. You know, there's nobody there for the Cowboys right now. So take that for what it's worth here. But you and I both believe he might be the quarterback for the Cowboys next year. All right. Dak, we know, is a free agent. Cooper Rush, free agent here. Trey Lance, a free agent too. But maybe Jerry just wants to start from scratch or to try and trade up, because I think the Cowboys will win too many games to be a top 10 pick. You know, I think they're going to win 8-9 games minimum. So that's going to put you around pick 15, 16. Maybe Jerry's just planning on trading up to get a quarterback in next year's draft, or maybe it's Trey Lance. Either way, it's hard to be. You know, I know you guys get on me for being a pessimistic Cowboy fan. But usually I have something, all right, this could be the year. Right? This could be the year. All right, I know I don't think that, but this could be the year. I just don't feel that anymore. This is not going to be the year. And next year, if they start from scratch, we're going back to 6 wins again. So it's
I think your pessimism about the Cowboys is right. More so than the Yankees. I think you're overly negative about the Yankees. Listen, the Yankees are winning, but a good comparison to the Cowboys a little bit. Because the fact is, it's true. The Yankees haven't won in a long time. Right? I mean, the years are starting to add up here right now. But I'm with you as well. I don't really – and the Cowboys have been a good regular season team. McCarthy gets criticized a lot, but he's actually been one of the better ATS coaches in the NFL since he's been the coach of the Cowboys. Cowboys have covered a lot of point spreads over the last couple of years, but it's not about that in their picture. And it seems like we all see the picture here that Jerry Jones is ready to give up on this team, right? Or at least move on. I think he does. I think Dak Prescott will not be a Dallas Cowboy next year. And I don't know if they think that Trey Lance is the starter, but I think they might say, you know what? We want to keep this guy in our system. He's only making $5 million right now. It's the last year of his contract, too. So they're going to see whether they think he's, good enough to potentially be the starter or not. But I got to tell you, my gut instinct tells me no with Trey Lance. He's not Jordan Love. I know there's sort of, people want to sort of have that same sort of, all right, he sat behind people, he's going to step in. Like you said, Kurtz, he just doesn't pick up these offenses. He's a good athlete. Like you'll notice McCarthy kept falling back on that. He's a hell of an athlete. Hey, he can throw a good football, but he's got to work on some things. But he's a hell of an athlete. Like they keep going back to that. But at some point, you've got to translate that athleticism into quarterback play. And there's something about it to me, Kurtz, that if Shanahan couldn't get it out of you, you know what I'm saying? Like who gets it out of everybody? And if you're this big talent that he couldn't say, man, I can get this guy to do it. He said, I give up. I can't do it.
Yep. When the 49ers quit on you, it was Shanahan. There's a problem here. I'm going to tell you, Gabe, I'm not sure you and George feel about it. I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to be one of the biggest disappointments in the National Football League this year. I think they might win way less than their win total. I think they might win 7 or 8 games. I think they're not going to be very good. I think that sounds crazy, but that's how I feel.
No, I agree. I completely agree. Their win total was 10.5. Now it's down to 9.5. A lot of people start to agree.
Philadelphia to win a division is the bet.
I agree, Gabe.
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Folks, what a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Harry on the target for right hand from my daddy, double jab. Who's the king of violence? I am!
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
80 seconds remaining.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
So the NFL preseason continues. And, I was a little disappointed, actually. I thought tonight would have been worthy of a Monday Night Football game. The Olympics ended. It would have been a perfect spot for them. They often have Monday night games in the preseason. I was surprised, actually, that there was not a Monday night game scheduled for tonight. And there isn't next week either. There's 2 Sunday nighters next week, but no Monday nighter, which once again is a surprise. So this week, there's a game on Thursday, and then people play. So nothing on Friday. That's strange. So nothing on Thursday, and then there's a bunch of games on Saturday, including the Buffalo Bills. So the Bills played against the Chicago Bears, and there was a lot of people watching that game. It was on the NFL Network. It was Caleb Williams' debut, and Caleb Williams looked very comfortable out there. I don't think they want to give away too much about what they're going to do with their offense, but you can already tell what they're going to do. And it seems to me that they're just going to copy basically Lincoln Riley's offense, I think. And this is the one thing that's going to be dangerous for other teams early. you're not really going to know what they're going to do, right, with Caleb Williams. What kind of offense are they going to run? But the takeaways I got, there was a lot of rolling out with Caleb Williams. There was just a lot of get him on the move, get him rolling out. He's at his best when he's on the move, when he's not just standing there in the pocket. And almost all the pass plays, he rolled out a bit. He was very comfortable. The Bills got a pass rush going on him a couple of times. He just easily dodged them, kind of looked like you got to be kidding me. You're not even going to touch me type of thing. Like his pocket presence was impressive. He let him down the field. It was a very good performance for him, and I could see the Bears being very happy with the way he looked out there, and Bears fans being happy. As far as the Bills are concerned, I warned people going into this game that the Bills do not care about the preseason, and it's the same thing every year in the preseason. They never care. McDermott, whatever, doesn't put a lot into it. They always get massacred and beat up, and then McDermott gets mad after. That was an embarrassment. I didn't expect that. And here we are right now. The Bills were beaten in every facet of the football game all day long. I mean, they got murdered. They lost, 38-6. They got killed. And, you're charging people money for this, guys. So, have a little pride in what you're doing. And they didn't. Now they get a Pittsburgh Steelers football team who are laying 4 points in this football game. And things did not go well for the Pittsburgh Steelers either against the Houston Texans. Texans played their starters and really picked them apart early and just wore them out. Justin Fields, listen, Tomlin was critical of Fields. I thought a little bit too much. I didn't think it was his fault, the snap situation. I thought Fields looked okay out there, but they got their ass handed them too as well. So you got two teams coming off a beating, and you have two coaches that are very good friends. They went to school together at William and Mary. So they're good buddies here. They have a joint practice later in the week. I would expect this game to go under the number, guys. I don't think they're going to put a lot into this. I think they'll put more into the practices this week. Kurtz's Cowboys are in action against the Las Vegas Raiders. And get this, guys, the Raiders are 7-point favorites in this game. That's a big number for a preseason game.
Huge.
And the Raiders were just 3. They closed at 3 against the Vikings. And I like the Vikings. And the Vikings got the cover. But the Raiders are laying these big points because they keep playing their quarterbacks. They're going to play Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell a lot because they're trying to figure out who their starter is going to be. But Kurtz getting 7 points with your Cowboys. A lot of points, man, for a preseason game. I got to tell you, there's not a lot of blowouts in a preseason. There's a few, but not a ton.
We don't know how much Dak's going to play, if at all. Right? He missed a couple of days of practice last week. He swears up and down that he's practicing tomorrow. Yeah, he'll be on the practice field on Tuesday, but even if he plays Saturday night, it's going to be for a series or two. There's no CeeDee Lamb. I keep saying this over and over again. I don't want to say the Cowboys don't care about the preseason. I don't know if that's fair. They don't win in the preseason. They don't win.
They never do.
They never have. They haven't under anybody. As long as I can remember, the Cowboys have always sucked during preseason. All right, so keep that in mind there. But I just said the most important thing there is Minshew and O'Connell. They're going to play. They're going to play a lot. And I do think they'll put up points. We saw Trey Lance play the entire game yesterday. Might do the same thing on Saturday or most of it. He couldn't put up points against the McVay team we know doesn't care. The Raiders are going to care. So, yeah.
Yeah, but the Raiders just cared. The Raiders just cared against the Vikings and lost the game as well. Right? So, caring isn't everything. The Vikings beat them 24-23.
38.5 right now. I got 3.5 points, 7 here. 38.5 for the over. Can the Cowboys score? 14-6. They only scored 6 yesterday, right? 12. No, 12. They got a touchdown. If they get the 15-18, we probably get the over here.
Another game too, where people, the Browns, and I got cold feet. I stayed away from the Browns once the point spread started getting as high as it was, and people they were 5.5, 6-point favorites against the Packers, and the Browns, they got drilled. They lost 23-10 in this football game. Very risky believing that a team should be that big of a favorite against anybody in the preseason in any matchup.
Call, Gabe. I was wrong with that game, but I parlayed them with Tennessee. But we hit all the other games on the board. But that game really surprised me, and I thought Cleveland would play a lot better in that game. But let's give the Packers credit; they came out early and often. They scored points, and their defense really held up against Cleveland. Very, very solid performance by Green Bay's backup units.
J.J. McCarthy made his debut with the Minnesota Vikings, and he threw an interception on his first possession. And, of course, Twitter blew up right away. Oh, no, you're not in Michigan. Hey, look what happened. And I swear, if I could have bet that, I would have. I knew that was going to happen. The one thing with J.J. McCarthy, he gets so fired up. I don't expect you guys to remember this, but the first play of the Rose Bowl, the college football semifinal, he threw an interception.
Yep, he did.
It was the first play of the game. Like he rolled out, boom, and it was a bad pick. He threw it right to the dude. He threw it, and you know what happened? There was a penalty on the play, and it got overruled because, or the guy stepped out of bounds. I think it was out of bounds, the pick. And lo and behold, he threw a pick like a minute later again. And it was almost like, all right, it's out of his system. And the rest of the game, he was stone cold killer. And I kind of knew. I was like, it wouldn't surprise me if he threw a pick right away and he bounced back. And that's what happened. He threw a pick right away. He got it out of his system. And he threw 2 touchdowns after. They're very happy about the Minnesota quarterback situation right now. Darnold's looking good as well.
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center, here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Folks, what a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Harry on the target. Right hand from my Perry. Double check. Who's the king of violence? I am!
Combat fighting in its purest form. Bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
80 seconds remaining.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
The Olympics are done, but there's some controversy continuing right now. There's a debate about a bronze medal with the U.S. gymnastics team that is getting ugly right now. It sounds like USA Gymnastics are on the right side of this, but these committees are all whacked, man, and they're claiming that the U.S. filed their appeal literally seconds too late. That it was too late for the appeal to matter. And there's, this is not done. The U.S. are going to appeal it again, but I don't think they're going to end up winning this. And there was another situation today too with Ice Cube. Oh, and listen, Ice Cube does a good job of trying to get the big three in the news, right? He offered Caitlin Clark $5 million to play in like 8 games, and it's a 3-on-3 league, the big three, obviously. And he said, you know what, our teams would crush the gold medal champions of the Olympics in 3-on-3 basketball. And he called them out. He said, our teams would crush the Netherlands, and I challenged the Netherlands. and he offered him money to play the big three. And I think he was quite surprised. They called his bluff, and they said, all right, we'll play you. When and where? And they were down with it. They said, all right, we'll play you. And FIBA shut it down. And for the exact opposite. They need permission, you need to, if they're going to play in a non-FIBA event, they need permission from FIBA, and there needs to be 3 weeks notice. And this was only 10 days notice, so FIBA won't allow it. Right? And the bottom line is because FIBA's not making money off it, right? Like, this is what they're about. And they just don't want, they know it'll be big TV. They know it'll be a big deal. And they know that, Ice Cube's going to capitalize off the Olympic sort of name, and the Netherlands is the gold medal team, and they're not going to get any money for it. So, politics are always going to come and play. But as cool as the Olympics are, it makes the NCAA seem humble. Like, you remember, they don't pay these athletes. The Olympics aren't paying them. Local governments are giving people like the U.S. athletes get $37,000 for a gold medal. $37,500 from the U.S. Olympic Committee. So, you train for 4 years of your life. That's not like big money. Like, you're not, what I mean? Like, yeah, you want a gold medal? Good for you. You get $37,000.
What's the number? It should be, if you win a gold medal, I think it should be at least a few $100,000 minimum. Like, you said it. You commit your whole life to this stuff, and you're getting $37,500.
If you really want to win more medals, I would make it like $250,000, $150,000. I'd say, 250,000 gold, 100,000 silver, 50,000 bronze.
I like that.
And you really get a bunch of people motivated to try to win medals. Some you know what it is, though? It's more like these smaller countries do that. Like, they'll hook you up more. Like, look, like we talked about the Philippines. They gave that guy a house. They gave him a 2-bedroom condo, free food, free ramen for life. And the Medicare stuff, right?
That's right. Was it massages for life or that Medicare for life? That was
colonoscopies.
Yeah, colonoscopies. That's right. Yeah, he doesn't have to pay for a colonoscopy.
How many do you need?
That was the best game.
How many do you need that they're free?
I love
55. I had one.
It's the best.
You know what's in this is
colonoscopies.
You know what's crazy though, and people don't realize this. And there was basically only like one girl on the U.S. team figured this out, is that there's free health care in the Olympic Village.
Ooh.
All right. So, but including dental and everything.
Oh, get your teeth out there.
Yeah. So like this girl that was one of the U.S. athletes, she basically got like 6 things done. She had like a problem with her arm. She got some, and she got like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of health care for free. And she basically said, no health care in America. This is what the world should be like. And yeah, the Olympic Village has free health care for people, but nobody knows it, so takes advantage of it. But she did. And yeah, she racked up like all these different things.
Can I get
and people were like, oh, you're a grifter. And they were like, no, she's not a grifter. It's there. Like, she's letting people know it's there for a reason, right? Like, these athletes are getting stiff. So, like, if you get hurt or something, they cover your cost at least, right? Like, but you don't have to be hurt. You can go in, get the massage. You can say, hey, can you fix my teeth? I can get you the list of things she did. But, yeah, she did a bunch of things. She kept on posting, like, at the different appointments and stuff like that.
That's amazing, Morency. I need the list to see what we can get done for free.
Well, that's what people were saying. They were like, I'm going to become an Olympian just for the free health care. You know what I mean?
Health care. That's so, wow.
You got to plan everything. Like, you know what I mean? And no, I'm going to wait till I get to the Olympic Village for this.
Smart.
You know, it's pretty sad. It's like UFC fighters that live in California go to Mexico for medical treatment.
That's
just cheap.
Crazy. Yeah, that's nuts.